What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a little bit since I've done one of these. Been very, very busy on my end. It feels like every time I try to get this show back together, um, something seems to get in the way. Whether it's holiday vacations or, obviously the last couple months. It was marriage a few months ago. Thanksgiving this past week. I was in a wedding at the end of October. There's been a lot, but I'm always happy to jump on the show and talk things that I love to talk about. For the most part, it is Star Wars, but man, what a day we had today, thanks to the Brazilian Comic Con. It was a trailer galore for us movie fans. And when it comes to something like Star Wars, most Star Wars fans are also fans of Indiana Jones. But even if you're not a Star Wars fan, you're probably a fan of Indiana Jones. There's very few people in the world that I have talked to, like, I'm not a fan of that. Well, I'm a big fan. I'm a massive fan. I've been a fan for a very, very long time. I have the VHS. Actually, it's funny. The 4K set is right there. I'm pointing at them. And then right behind the 4K are the VHS tapes, the original 3. So Indy has been in my life for a very, very long time, and we've been waiting for Indiana Jones 5 for quite a while. It's still over 6 months away, but we now have an official trailer to talk about, and discuss and have a little fun with, and an official title as well, which is an incredible title. We'll get into what that title could possibly mean. But again, just to anyone who may not be familiar with the show or has not joined me before, thank you so much. The way that the show works is I usually pick a topic or topics and just kind of hang out, talk about them, take questions from the chat, comments from the chat, just kind of hang out and talk things. And what I do is I pair that with a whiskey. I review and discuss whiskeys that I really like to taste and enjoy. It's kind of the second half of this show. And it's another passion of mine. I have a lot of them and I like to taste and try. But today's a little different. I don't have one that I purchased off of the shelf. Well, I mean, I guess it derives from one that I purchased off the shelf. But because I was in a little bit of a holiday spirit for the fall, I homemade a whiskey. It's more so like mixed. It's not necessarily like actually make the whiskey myself. But I homemade a apple cider brown sugar whiskey, essentially, is what it is. For shorter terms, it's an apple cider whiskey, essentially. So I took a bourbon, and it looks super dark on camera. I promise you it's not that dark. I don't know how the lighting is totally screwing it up. Maybe once I poured it into a glass. I took a bourbon and I took a couple different styles of apples, some cinnamon sticks, some brown sugars, and I let it sit for 2 whole weeks. I have not tasted it yet. I just strained it twice about an hour ago. And so I'm going to try it first time here. Hopefully it's good. I was super excited when I did it, and I've been waiting 2 long weeks for this. It's just been sitting on the counter, just getting all of those flavors. I'll tell you off the bat, it smells incredible. It does. It's very much a fall type whiskey, and I'm very excited to try it. But I figured, you know what? Why not here talking Indiana Jones, one of my favorite things, do something that I enjoyed to do, and that was make this homemade whiskey. John, I promise you it's not that dark in person. It looks like a dark soda on camera. It's not that dark. I'll pour it just to get some out. Plus, I have some ice sitting here. I don't want the ice to melt. But look, Indiana Jones 5, guys. Dial of Destiny. I mean, pretty exciting day, right? It's going to be Harrison Ford's final time as this character. June 30th, next summer. It's going to be a big summer, gigantic movie. Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Mads Mikkelsen, among many others. Boyd Holbrook's in there, directed by James Mangold. I want to hear theories, thoughts on the trailers. What do you guys think? Gio over on Apocalypse was gracious enough to do a reaction. He actually killed it with the reactions today. Did a great job of getting 4 reactions out today. But Indy's the one that I want to talk about, obviously. And kind of what the trailer is and means, certain scenes. Like I said, the title and theories. Brennan, page turners, they were not. I believe that's you, Brennan. You said you got a theory about the Dial of Destiny. Why don't you shoot it off in the chat, man? Because I have an idea too, but it's not really an idea that I love, if I'm being honest. So I'm interested to see what you think or anybody else may think. But I mean, if you don't want to say it, that's fine. But Brennan, these are all theories here. You know, that's what we do with movies. We theorize. All right. There you go. There's the look of it. That's the real look of it. Nice brown. A nice, good color brown. I really, really like that coloring. I'm super hyped. Guys, today's been a good day. Today's been a really good day. I got to say. Because I had a very horrendous day yesterday, which is why I was not on the Guardians of the Galaxy review over on Apocalypse. Yesterday kicked my ass pretty hard. But today was a total bounce. I bounced back. I bounced back hard. And I think a lot of these movie trailers had to do with that. It was fun to watch all these trailers and get all that information and the kind of just like it was steamrolling through, right? Just like back to back to back. But yeah, so look, Indiana Jones 5, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I'll just say off the bat with the trailer. We can get into some breakdown stuff here in a little bit. The trailer was way better than I was expecting. I had some decently sized, I'll say, expectations for the trailer. And I might be coming off biased just because I'm such a massive Indy fan. But I thought the trailer wasn't just put together very well as far as a trailer format goes, because sometimes that's when movies can fail early on by not having good trailers, right? And there's kind of a beat when you want to put a trailer together, excuse me. And this one I thought did it very well. One that immediately comes to mind and one that did it bad was Edge of Tomorrow. The marketing for that movie was awful. And, the trailers weren't the worst thing on the planet, but they also weren't good. And the movie was stellar, but it didn't make any money because of it. You have to have a good trailer and trailer format to be able to bring people in. And I thought Indy did a very good job of doing that. It's a very slow burn, right? You see Harrison Ford in the first however long of the trailer, kind of as the professor from distant shots, maybe of the back, not like anything up close until Sala says, well, it may be over, but maybe not yet. And then we get that shot of him and boom, the trailer picks back up, right? Which, speaking of Sala, I am so hyped that he's included in this movie. What a great addition, bringing him back into this franchise after appearing in 2 of the 3 originals, I believe. I don't think he was in all 3 of them. I have to go back and look, but yeah, I just thought the trailer was very well done. The music obviously is such a big key, and we know it's going to be good because it's John Williams, right? Duh. But I thought they used the slow piano version of the Indy theme to start us off, and then you get that shot of him grabbing his hat for the first time, of him putting on the fedora, and that's when the music starts to kick off, right? And we get that Indy theme in high tone, and everything starts to move, right? We see him on horseback, and there's action scenes with cars, and we're chasing around New York and other cities. I just thought it was very well done, and again, I might be very biased, but I don't think the trailer had to be the best thing on the planet to sell us, because Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was not. It is, but it's really not an Indiana Jones movie. It's not. Like, it has elements, but it's not. And I think that this trailer just had to be good to prove it. To prove that we are jumping back into this world with this character, right? He's in a completely different timeline, not timeline, excuse me, wrong word. He's in a completely different setting, right? 1969 New York, at least for a part of it. So it didn't have to do a lot to prove to us, like, yes, we're back. It's a different time era, of course, but he's still fighting Nazis. There's going to be different elements, but and they even brought back things like the punching sound, which I can't tell you how hyped it got me. Like I was so excited when those punching sound. There's that one sequence where all the punches land on beat of the music. It got me very excited. It got me very, very excited. All right, we're gonna get into the title next because I'm curious on what everybody else thinks. But I want to try this whiskey. Been sitting here for 2 weeks. Haven't tried this yet. Again, I pretty much home crafted a whiskey of mine. I mixed some bourbon with some apples, some cinnamon sticks, and some brown sugar. I let it sit for 2 weeks, and this is the result. So we're gonna see if this apple cider bourbon is all worth the talk of the town because I have found it everywhere and I wanted to join the party. So let's see. Oh my God, that's dangerous. That is so dangerous. Wow. Guys, I'm not joking when I tell you that this is a dangerous combination. This really is. Oh my God. There might be an opportunity for me to make some for Christmas and just carry it around with me. Put it on a holster and just carry around a little bottle with me. It's so hard to explain the flavors. Like immediately I get brown sugar. I think brown sugar is the strongest of the three flavors, especially like right off the bat. But then towards the end, you kind of get like the sourness of the apples. Not like a ton, but enough to where you recognize it. And all of it hides the bourbon. It hides it all. It like of course you can taste some of the bourbon, but I taste more of those flavors than I do whiskey. And that's when it becomes like dangerous. Like I've been saying, it's dangerous. Cuz like if I wasn't working or whatever, like this could be gone very quickly. This isn't a big batch either. This is like 3/4 of a bottle, I guess I would say. After it's all said and done, maybe a little lower. I didn't use a full bottle, which what the directions told me, but maybe that's maybe why the flavors are so strong. Either way, it's great. It's really, really good. And if anybody is interested, I'll send them the recipe. It's very easy to make. I even made a video on it. I was thinking about posting it, but then I ended up not doing it. So I have the video still, but it's extremely easy to make. And again, you just let it sit for 2 weeks. Um, so if anybody is interested, let me know. You guys can hit me up on Discord or anything like that. Gordon, I don't know if you're in any of our Discords, but you can find me on like Twitter or you can message or leave a comment if you want to. For anybody who is watching who doesn't follow Apocalypse, I always want to plug them. It's kind of my home on YouTube. Movie reviews and trailer reactions, and we do a weekly movie show. We review things like Star Wars and Marvel, the regular shows that are coming out. But the reason why I want to mention them is because we just started a Discord over there, and it's public. Anybody can join. If you head over to the Apocalypse page, the links in all the videos. I might even post it here. You know what? I'll grab the link and I'll post it in the chat here for anybody watching on the playback, and maybe even leave it in the comments as the pin chat or pin comment. But it's been fun so far. It's been really fun over there talking with everybody in our different little channels. And today was obviously a big one with all the trailers. But yeah, if you're interested, just go over there and you guys can always message me privately if you guys have questions or like this if you want a recipe for something like this. So, all right, let's get back to Indy 5. So, Brennan, here you go. 2,000 years ago, the Greeks had a dial-like device called the Antikythera mechanism, which could predict movement of astronomical objects. Maybe the Nazis want it for their attempt at a space program. Hey, Brennan, that's actually not a bad idea. I like that idea a lot more, strictly because I hate what mine means. I do not like what mine mean. What mine means whatsoever. So, I think that's brilliant. So look, here's the thing. Indy 5. It is set in the backdrop of the space race. 1969. It's at the height of everyone trying to race to the moon. You have the U.S. You have the Russians are obviously the two that were in the space race. But in this world, it's very possible that it's not just the US and the Russians, but the Germans, or Nazis at this case, are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to get into that race. And we saw it. If anybody watches For All Mankind, and I don't know my exact history on this, but we saw in For All Mankind that the Koreans were also involved. So it could be a case in this world where Indiana Jones is, that it's the US, it's the Russians, and the Nazis kind of like behind a curtain, right? Because we know that from Project Paperclip, which is the famous project, that after World War II or near the end of it, Nazi scientists and high executives and very intelligent people in the world were recruited to work for other programs. Not just the U.S., Russian for the Russians as well, right? It's just kind of to an advantage them, but we were very well known for it, and that's it. That's even tackled in the MCU. Captain America: The Winter Soldier deals with that with Arnim Zola, right? When he becomes a computer, he breaks down to Steve and Natasha about how after the war, all of these people were recruited to come work for the Americans, and they were all Hydra. It's the same exact thing, but just Nazis. So when you think of it that way, Mads Mikkelsen's character, I think his name is Volo. I'm gonna have to please correct me, guys. It's like it starts with a V. I'm totally blanking, but his character, who is kind of being considered like the Warner von Braun of this world, or like he's inspired by, that's the word I was looking for, inspired by Warner von Braun. He is going to be the Nazi leader, or at least the leader of this party of Nazis that we're going to be kind of tangling with. And we in the trailer, right? So like in Voller, thank you. That's what I thought it was. I couldn't remember exactly what it was, but in the lead up to the trailer, we saw images of his character, right? We got a little glimpse of him, some backstory, but in the trailer itself, it seems like we got multiple time era shots of him. And the reason why I think that's the case is because we already know, it's confirmed, that the opening sequence of this movie is taking place in the era of the first movies, 1940s. It's de-aging Indiana Jones, and we're getting a full-blown sequence inside the original trilogy era, which is when the Nazis were obviously kicking strong. And I want to bring up a picture of Harrison Ford during that time era. So give me a second. Because the de-aging in the trailer alone is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. This is unreal. So for anyone listening on audio, I apologize, but this is unbelievable of de-aging. I cannot believe that the trailer, not the film, like some people watching this on their phone, their computer screen, whatever, that this is what it looks like. I can't even imagine what it looks like on screen. And we've had some really good de-aging in the past, but we've also had some very iffy de-aging in the past. It's hard to say, but this might be the best we've ever seen. Legitimately, this might be the best we've ever seen. He looks incredible, and the detail and how just realistic and not cheesy, right? And of course, we haven't seen him like talk or move or any of that. And there's moments of it in the trailer, but it's very blurry and there's things moving all over the place. This scene in the movie, if we do get this scene in the movie, we're going to see him talking and moving and kind of slow motions in an up-close shot. Then we're really going to be able to get a test of what he looks like. But, I mean, look, going off of just this is incredible. This is bonkers good. And where I'm going with this is we're getting this de-aged sequence of Indy. Who's to say that we do not get a de-aged Voller. The reason why I say that is because of this photo. This photo, or screenshot from the trailer, looks like a 1940s. It does not look like the 60s. It doesn't. This looks like the 40s, right? The Nazis are going strong. We have the soldier there, probably during World War II still. Maybe they're on the outs. They just learned that they lost. Now they're trying to grab everything they absolutely can. But this is absolutely the 40s. And that means we're getting a younger Mads Mikkelsen on top of that. Well, I don't know if he'll be de-aged necessarily, but we're going to get a younger version of his character. And it all lines up properly about like how it's all setting everything up. And I'll get to everything at some point, but we're getting a younger Harrison Ford or Indy, a younger Voller, and then their stories are going to be intertwined at some point. So Voller is more than likely going to be recruited by the U.S. government. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. That's just my personal opinion. I think he's going to be recruited, a top scientist or whatever division he's out of. But the entire time, he's still working for himself and the Nazis, right? Like, that's what it is. That's what it is all about. I see my Wi-Fi bar going kind of up and down, so I apologize if I get blurry or anything. So for, let's say this takes place in early 1940s. Let's give it a 24 plus years, 25 years. Let's say 25 years. He'll be working for the American government, building a space program or whatever, but the entire time planting the seeds for the Nazi party to reign supreme once again. And Indy gets wrapped up into it. Maybe that's where Sala comes into play. You know, he kind of recruits Indy because Sala has information or was given information that this is actually happening. And Brennan's theory about how, you know, this dial of destiny is related to the original real-life Greek mechanism of astronomical objects and all of that. Maybe that's what they're hunting. And the Nazi party gets found out. They go on the run. They're looking for all of this stuff. And it's classic Indiana Jones where he has to get to something first. Because that's basically what they are, right? Ark of the Covenant. Indy, it tosses hands multiple times. Mainly the Nazis have it the entire movie, but he is constantly trying to get to it. And then same thing with Last Crusade. You know, he's trying to get to the cup and find everything before the Nazis. Of course, he never gets there first, but he ends up beating everybody. So that's more than likely what's going to happen. Now, my theory, and it's playing into what we heard a few months or weeks ago. No, it was months by now. About how there's a time travel element in this film, which I cannot stand. Can't stand. Please, I'm begging Mangold, Lucasfilm, everybody. If you would ever hear this tiny little podcast in the corner of the galaxy, I'm begging you to not include time travel in Indiana Jones. With that said, when you think of something like the Dial of Destiny, right? If you think of the name, it kind of points to like one final shot, one chance. This is your opportunity. What if, and again, I don't like this theory. I'm just putting it out there. Don't like it, but I'm putting it out there. What if with Voller, the Nazis, they get to the Dial of Destiny? That's what they're looking for because they want to right the wrongs of World War II. They want to go back and fix their mistakes. That's the whole goal. Like, maybe the space program has nothing to do with it other than like Voller and other people working for them. I tend to believe that they will, like, it'll be a huge part of the film. But what if they're hunting this Dial of Destiny because the Nazis want to go back and change time and change the mistakes and fix history on their end, right? Because there's that line in the trailer of Indy saying, "I don't believe in magic." And I forget the exact verbiage. But he says something along the lines of like, it's hard to argue against things that you see. And time travel slash magic. I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand. It can be seen as magic. Um, I'm just kind of putting pieces together. I'm Charlie Day in the scene with the red string, right? Like that, like that's where I'm at right now. The trailer's in the center, and I'm putting strings all over the place. And again, we don't really have that much to go off of. Like the trailer didn't give off that information. It was funny too, because and I have to go back and watch the trailer for the 99th time that I've already seen it, but I don't remember seeing a shot of space or spaceships, right? It's being said that it's set 1969, the backdrop of a space race, but who is to say that that's going to be in the movie? There's a good chance it won't be. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing some ideas, trying to throw some pieces together. In the coming days too, more ideas and theories are going to come out, and a lot more people are going to say probably a lot more smarter things than I'm saying right now. I'm just a massive fan of this franchise, and I love talking about it, whether I sound smart or stupid, if I'm being honest. I tend to think that I have a decent size of information regarding it. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at. I think and I would love to watch the trailer right now, but they're going to take it down. I had to upload our Apocalypse one twice with a watermark to make sure it got through. So, I can't bring it on screen, unfortunately, which is the first thing that I would absolutely do. But no, I think Voller is going to be a very interesting part of this film. He is clearly some type of Nazi scientist or engineer, if you will, that is in hiding in the American government, and they get found out. I think that there's a lot of potential there. It's a very cool idea, very very cool idea. Because if you think about it, you can't just implant a 80-year-old Harrison Ford into the 1940s. You can't. You'd have to de-age him the entire film. And as cool as that would be, it's just not possible. It's just not possible. I don't think people would want to see that. I wouldn't. As much as I'm, and don't get me wrong, I'm excited, ecstatic for this opening scene that de-ages Harrison Ford. Like, here's another shot. It's not very good quality. But the scene from the trailer that's like the train sequence, right? That seems to be the whole opening sequence. And here's a shot of him on the inside. He looks great. He looks great. That this isn't the greatest quality again, and we're not seeing him talk or move. But the de-aging looks fantastic. It does, just from a trailer standpoint. Could all change in 6 months. Hopefully not. But so far, so good. And Harrison Ford even came out and said that it was kind of terrifying that it looked so good, that it was so real. And that's such a good sign, because Harrison Ford is not one to really kind of BS stuff. He's a very straight shooter. So yeah, I mean, that all came from just discussing the name of it all, but there's obviously a lot of possibilities. It points to something, and there's a shot of it in the trailer. Let's see if I can pull it up just via YouTube. Where'd it go? Here we go. There is a shot of it. I just don't know where. There it is. Is that it? No, that's not it. Oh, wait. No. Let's just play this on my end. This is great radio. This is incredible radio. Oh, this is what I wanted to bring up too. While I look for that, this is so cool. What a great payback to Harrison Ford's entire career. This shot of basically the Millennium Falcon. That's so cool. That is so cool. So yeah, I think that's very, very cool. Let me go ahead. I want to find. I hope this doesn't get taken down because I'm showing this stupidity of YouTube. Where is that shot? Here, let me do this real quick. Oh, Antonio Banderas. I haven't mentioned him yet. Right there. There's that shot. Thank you. Yeah, Antonio Banderas in this? Like, what? Completely forgot he was in this if he ever got announced. All right. Let me bring this up. So there's that. That obviously seems to be the dial of destiny. And it's in, the skeletal hands of someone who's been protecting it or tried to find it in the past. And those look like Indy's hands, who is grabbing it, which is a very good sign because there's a lot of times where he doesn't find things first. I mean, he found the skull first in Crystal Skull, or at least one of them. But there's a lot of times where he doesn't find things first. So, or he finds them first and then loses them immediately, which is very possible that could happen. But that's why we love this franchise. I mean, that's what makes this franchise so likable. So I don't know. I mean, it could relate to astronomical objects or movements. It looks like that type of mechanism. Something that kind of points to maybe a location or coordinates, a timeline, and it's just hard to believe that that's a time travel device, right? Going back on my theory, like if you turn that to the correct spot and location, it's going to take you back in time. And I mean, look, it very well could. I don't know. But it just, I would not like it whatsoever. I wouldn't like it whatsoever. We'll see, though. We'll see. All right, guys, what do you have questions for? Indiana Jones questions about the trailer? Maybe about the trailers that were released today? Any of the other ones? While you guys may ask those, you don't have to, but may send in some questions. I'd love to answer for you, talk them out. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I love that she's in this movie. I really do. I think that she is such a great talent. Not just as an actress, but she's clearly an incredible screenwriter. She wrote Fleabag for Prime, the 2 seasons on there, which if you have not watched Fleabag, one, prepare yourself because it is does not hold back. But watch it because it's incredible. She plays an incredible character who continues to peel back layers each and every episode. The show is just phenomenal, and I wish that it went more than 2 seasons, but it didn't. But she also had a hand in writing No Time to Die, the final Daniel Craig James Bond movie. I have no doubt that she helped in some capacity with at least her character, but maybe the movie overall was Solo, right? She played L3 in Solo. And then this one, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, if you're a director and you know what she is capable of as a writer, where she writes incredibly complex characters, how would you not want to use that to your advantage? At least just for her character alone, right? Now, we know her character is the goddaughter to Indy. And they even say in the trailer, right? He says, I'm her godfather. Not revealed yet as to who is her father. Theories out there about that. My theory is that it's Marcus's daughter. She's Marcus's daughter. I think that would tie everything back very, very nicely. And to be quite honest, Marcus is one of the very, very few people who would give Indy the godfather status, right? That we've met. Maybe there's some that we haven't met, but it would be out of touch to make her the daughter of someone we haven't met when Indy's been given the godfather status. In my opinion, anyway. It might make sense in someone else's head. That's fine. But it only makes sense to me for her to be the daughter of someone we have met and we love and appreciate, to understand the relationship they have. Because we're not going to go into this film like we did Crystal Skull, where he and Mutt meet for the very first time, right? Like they had never encountered each other. They didn't know each other existed. They obviously didn't know that they were father and son. And even though like there's a part of me that kind of like secretly enjoys it, that relationship. It wasn't great. It could have been better. So I just feel like it's much more of a smarter play to make her the daughter of someone we really, really love and we know and we recognize, because their relationship is obviously going to be a thing for many years already by the time we meet them. And she seems to be picking up in his footsteps a little bit. In no way am I saying they're doing the whole Mutt thing where he tries to put on the hat afterwards and they were clearly trying to shoehorn Shia LaBeouf into being the next Indy. I don't think that's happening at all. But who's to say she's not an archaeologist or a professor of some kind? And she gets wrapped up in this alongside him. It totally makes sense. It's kind of what happens anyway with Indy. He brings along some interesting characters along the way, in every one of his movies. But yeah, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I really enjoy her. I really, really like her. I think she is a very charismatic person on screen. I think she has a lot of chemistry with a lot of people. I'm very excited to see her relationship with Indy, how her and Harrison Ford act with each other. And from what we've seen, she handles action very well in the trailers. She seems to be very involved. Again, I think it's pretty much a hand-in-hand sequence where they're going together on this adventure. So, we'll see. I mean, so far so good, right? I mean, we're going off of just a trailer, our first trailer. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Maddie, short round appearance, yay or nay? Not right now, unfortunately. I don't think so. As much as I would love to see it, I don't think that's happening right now. And Andy is right. They hadn't seen each other in 35, 40 years until recently. He took a break after Indy. He stepped away. He lived his life. And his next appearance was Everything Everywhere All at Once, which should get nominated for Best Picture, which should get nominated for Best Director, which should get nominated for Best Actress, and which he should get nominated for Best Supporting Actor. We'll see. It just won all of the Film Independent Awards, I believe, at least the Best Film one. I'm just terrified that movie came out too early for people to remember. But, I mean, as far as short round goes, I would love to see him come back. Unfortunately, this is the last time we're going to see Harrison Ford. I think it's okay for it to be the last time we see Harrison Ford. It just leaves out the possibility of seeing them together, right? And I would love to see it. He was incredible in Everything Everywhere. To take that much time off and then just absolutely destroy the role that you're given. Come on. Could have killed it as short round. Give me a short round series. I'll be all for that. What about his adventures? That dude definitely picked up off of Indy. Come on. You telling me that he went on that adventure with Indy in Temple of Doom and didn't follow in his footsteps? Some BS if that's the truth. Gio, Marion Ravenwood, absolutely. But I don't think in the capacity that many people want to see. I don't think we're getting Crystal Skull, Marion Ravenwood. I think Marion Jones. See what I did there? I think Marion Jones. Nah, she probably kept her last name. Let's be honest. She's a little hard headed. She probably kept her last name. Marion was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Incredible. One of my favorite movies of all time. And then she made her return in Crystal Skull. And unfortunately, I think that they just picked her for the wrong movie to return in. I think that was her one chance to return the character. As far as like a large role, like a co-lead, high supporting actress, etc. I do think we'll see her. We've seen, shots of Indy and he's got the wedding ring on, and it would just make okay, just think of it this way. If we're watching this movie and say let's just put a base that's 2 hours long. He's a professor. We're seeing him in a day in the life, but we don't see him at home with her. That wouldn't make sense. That wouldn't make much sense as to, okay, well, he's got his wedding ring on. Last time we saw him, he was getting hitched. If they broke up, why didn't they say anything? If they're together, why didn't they show her? So I definitely, absolutely think that they're going to show her. She's going to be in the beginning of the movie at home or stopping by to bring him lunch or something. And that's it. She'll pop in for a scene or two, which I think is totally fine. I think it's totally fine. But yes, we do need to see her. It would feel very weird if she wasn't there at all. If she didn't appear. I don't want. I mean, because right, we saw it. It goes back to the whole Han Solo thing and Harrison Ford, right? We saw Han Solo and Leia. At least as far as the movies go, I'm thinking of comics and books, but I got to keep that out of my brain for the average viewers. They were living their life. They were happy. They were doing their thing. We saw them together. And then The Force Awakens comes around. Granted, it's 30 years later, but they were separated and they had been separated. I don't want another situation like that. I want to see her. And I feel like they're going to show her. And it's Indy's last ride. Of course, come on. Maybe no, Gordon, I think you're right. I don't think she's the stay-at-home type. You're right. But I don't know, maybe she is now. She's right. She settled down. She got hitched. I mean, Indy went back to teaching. So what is she doing now? She's off gallivanting the world? I don't think so. And now I'm thinking about it, maybe we don't see her in the beginning, but maybe we see her in the end. Like a nice little dinner sequence in Sunset with the two of them. The final moments we'll ever see these characters, right? Or we could see them in both. But either way, to the point, yes, I do think we'll see her. I do think we will see her. And I hope we do. She's obviously a very important part of all this. So Mutt, on the other hand, I don't think he's anywhere near this. He's going to be off running a biker gang like across the country or something. Or maybe he picked up and he's gallivanting the world somewhere else searching for some treasure. I wouldn't put it past them to mention him, if I'm being honest. Just because he's Indiana Jones' son. So yeah, I mean, it would make sense for them to maybe mention him. But no, we're not going to see Shia. We won't see Shia. I don't think so. I think that's asking too much at this point. And I do think that they are also trying to distance themselves very much from Crystal Skull. I don't think they're going to completely ignore it, but there's definitely ways that you can completely ignore it. It just feels like such a distant relative to the original 3, and now you're jumping 25 years into the future or however long, and excuse me, guys, you're jumping 25 years into the future, and so you don't have to really connect it too much, so that'll be interesting. I'm very curious on that. All right, any final questions before I wrap up, guys? I would love to hear from you if you have them. Send them now. I'll just quickly say there was not a trailer that was dropped today that I did not love. And yes, that even includes Transformers. I'm sucked right back in, guys. I am sucked right back in. I was off the train for the last 2, what was it, Ages of Extinction and The Last Night. Terrible movies. Just awful. But I think I am being sucked back in because they are Michael Bay-less. They aren't going to be Michael Bay movies. So I'm excited to see a new director put their hands on it. Which it is the gentleman who did Creed 2. And I'm forgetting his name. Oh, God. Let's see. Oh, it's his name. Oh, I typed in Creed 3. Is it Stephen Cable Jr.? Yeah, Stephen Cable Jr. I'm excited. That movie, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but it's sucking me back in. Look, Bumblebee sucked me back in, but Bumblebee was such a different type of Transformers movie, right? Like it was very personal, sentimental, smaller scale. It was B versus like 2 or 3 Transformers. This is a literal war, right? It's Beast Wars, as Gio would say. Gio, it's Rise of the Beasts, actually. So yeah, I'm psyched for Transformers. And then Guardians 3. I mean, come on. What do I have to say? I don't need to say anything about Guardians 3. It looks incredible. It's going to be so emotional. That movie's going to wreck so many people. I'm telling you right now, bring the tissues. Someone's dying. I have no doubt. I have my ideas on who, but someone is definitely dying. And it's unfortunate because I love all those characters. So it's going to hurt. It's going to really, really hurt. All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap up the show as I suck down the Berlin juice. Thank you, Andy, for that. God, this stuff is so good. Woo! Gio, I might have to have you come over on Sunday to try this. Honestly. Wow. Yeah, look, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I'm hyped, guys. It's very high up on my board for 2023. I am super, super excited for this film. Harrison Ford's last go as Indy. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Mads Mikkelsen. I didn't even talk about him very much, but James Mangold directing. Duh. The dude has made some incredible films in the past. 3:10 to Yuma, Logan, Ford v Ferrari, among many others. He's an incredible filmmaker. That is why I think I have such high confidence in this film. Honestly, just final words. I think my confidence is so high in this movie because of James Mangold. I trust him so much with movies. Even the Wolverine. The Wolverine isn't just bonkers good. I love the Wolverine, especially the director's cut. But yeah, I think that's a large part in why I'm so excited for it and why I think I'm just feeling so good about it. Mangold directing, and it's not a knock because like the first 4 were directed by Spielberg. I can't argue that. I just think that the 4th was kind of on a different path. But I think Mangold getting his hands on this, excuse me, is going to be fun, new, right? Fresh, interesting. It's just different. It's the reason why we say the same thing about something like Star Wars. To always go back to this, or even Marvel or DC. We don't want the same directors doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? We want to see different hands in different, different eyes. As much as I love the Russo brothers, I'm very excited that, they took a little bit of a break because their movies, not that they're all the same, they're all incredible, but the Marvel movies always had the same Russo stamp, right? So yeah, it gets me excited. Mangold touching Indy is like a dream. It honestly is. He is such a fantastic director, and the fact that he's doing Indy 5, it leaves me very, very excited. So, EM, come on, watch the trailer. You got to get excited. But I did see the Guardians 3 trailer today, and that looks good. The Transformers trailer did look interesting too. So you watch those two and not Indy? Come on, EM. I'll give it to you. Guardians 3 trailer was great. Transformers trailer surprised the hell out of me. I'm not going to say it's going to be awesome or a great movie, but I have a feeling I'm going to have a good damn time in it. That's for sure. That movie comes out next summer or something. Usually typical July release date, I'm sure. But as far as Indy goes, June 30th. Got 6 months right in the heart of summer. I think it's a great release date. It's a long time coming, that's for sure. It was delayed twice, I think. So I think, as much as I would want it a year or two ago, it's good timing. 2022 was kind of like a downer year for movies. So the fact that we're getting so many good movies next year really excites me. And to have Indy be one of them, it makes it that much better. But let's be honest, they all paused movies because I got married this year. They knew that I was busy, They're like, Jake's not gonna be able to go watch a movie. Let's push it. And they trust me. So I appreciate it. Working on my last college paper ever. Oh, congratulations. I hope it goes well. Good luck on your finals if you have taken them or have not taken them. I know exactly how that feels. I graduated, let's see, on December 17th. It will be 5 years. Oh, yeah, 5-year anniversary. I graduated in December of 17. So congratulations. Go kick some ass. Good luck. And hopefully we get to see you more. Reefism, yes, it did look great. Looks better than great. It looks perfect. I talked about it for the last hour. I don't know how much more I could say about it. Okay. Look, to everyone who watches this live, I say this every time I do this, but I really appreciate it. Like, I don't know how much you guys, or I don't know how much you know how much this really means to me that you guys can come and hang out with me while I talk. I understand that it can be hard to watch one person just talk. I get that because I struggle with that sometimes too. So I really, really appreciate it. I enjoy doing this and just kind of rambling, talking with you guys, whether it's about Star Wars or other things that I love. Whiskey, which again, homemade whiskey, 12 out of 10 stars. It's fun. It's very fun for me. And I try to do it as much as I can. Obviously, right now, it's just out of the shows that I do, it's kind of on the low priority list. We're trying to build something with Apocalypse and a certain point of view, which if you have not checked out, I highly recommend going to check out. A lot of fun, great characters over there. But I'm trying to do this as much as I can. I love hanging out, talking random things with you guys, whether it's about news that comes out or picking a topic or whatever. I want to do this more. So, and I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best. I promise. But for now, that will wrap up the show. Yeah, Andy, that's a tough way to end this, but yeah, I just realized this weekend will be a year since Spectacular. Yeah, man, this weekend will be a year from when we first met many of our POV patrons. So many absolutely incredible people that we got to meet. I mean, John Booz was there. Andy, Brennan was there. Or Brennan was not there, but we met Brennan at Celebration. Just so many incredible people that I was lucky enough to come into contact with or see after communicating online for 2 years. Yeah, maybe we'll reminisce and post some photos and stuff on Twitter and in the Discord and stuff. So, but yes, as far as this one goes, guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate you all hanging out, talking some Indiana Jones with me. Very, very enjoyable. Made my Thursday that much better. Kicked off December in a very nice way, very fun way. I'm very excited for what's to come. I am not on anything the rest of the week, thankfully, because I need a breather. It's actually my sister's engagement party tomorrow, so we're going to be celebrating that as my phone slams down on the desk. So I hope everyone gets to enjoy their weekend a little bit, enjoy their Friday. Have a good weekend, celebrate yourselves. I would say have a drink on me, but let's be honest, that's hard to pay everybody or see everybody because that's usually the go-to saying, right? But as far as my schedule goes, POV on Mondays, Apocalypse on Tuesday, which is going to be a big one because of all these trailers. And then the new year, man, the new year is going to bring some really cool things. We're excited about the new year. Very, very cool things coming in the new year. So again, to everybody who watches this, I appreciate you all. I love you all. Stay safe. Do your thing. Have a great weekend. I'll catch you guys next time.